I, 27M, was recently told by girlfriend 26F how she really feels about our life. She doesn't agree with my view. Advice? Hi everyone, my girlfriend, 26F, told me, just a few hours ago, how she's been feeling the last couple of weeks. Basically she's not happy. She can't picture her goals anymore. She was sure to clear the air in that she's happy with me, but our lifetime goals don't seem to be getting any closer and it's been bothering her. Her life growing up was troubled, to say the least. I won't go into much detail to keep things short, but she went through a lot as a child. So naturally she worries about not returning to that lifestyle she was around for so long as a child. Knowing this, I really want to give her the best life imaginable. Now, recently we've hit some financial issues that cause us to constantly reschedule medical appointments, sacrifice one bill to pay another, or extremely budget our spending. This has affected her birthday, which was in August, but honestly my own birthday was not affected as we're much better than before. She listed everything she's unhappy with right now. Our rent is expensive, our roommates left, I was laid off so she had to pay rent herself for a while, we can't save anything to start working on the goals we both set out for ourselves, and as a result of the previous concern, she's nervous about our future. She doesn't see us getting to travel locally, dates, regional trips, or globally. She can't picture me proposing one day and us getting married. She can't picture us have the funds to adopt kids, she can't have kids, and she's a bit unhappy with work. My best advice I could give her was to not stress herself out so much and take things day by day. I don't think about these things as much. And granted I should have some plan, but I know I'll make it happen. I'm more relaxed about it because I can't afford to let the thoughts stress me out. She understood but couldn't grasp the day-by-day thing though. She said lifetime events don't just happen living life day by day. They require planning and the means to execute them. As of now, which I agree, she said we don't have the means to do anything and it's our third year together. I feel like shit. I feel like if I made more money, she makes more than I do, I could make her feel like these things are still in play and there is a way to make them happen. I also feel like she's upset about her birthday, as the last two I couldn't buy her anything or take her anywhere. I've made her a promise to have her birthday gift by Christmas/New Year's, but she was sad as I didn't have to wait to get my gift from her or my friends. Her friends didn't get her anything, most forgot her birthday. I know I sound like a bad boyfriend, but I love this woman to death. It pains me to see her feeling this way with no real way to stop this feeling. ATM. So I'm turning to Reddit. Does anyone have advice on how to make her feel better? Edit. I understand I failed her. I will do right by her. We had a talk. Some tears were shed on my part. I'm not losing her. We will work this out. Too long didn't read. My girlfriend is upset that her lifetime goals don't seem to be getting any closer. I advise her to go day by day, but she's still unhappy with the way our lives are progressing. Advice? I'm not going to sugarcoat anything. You're an absolutely terrible boyfriend. I've had extreme hardships throughout my childhood and I need to feel secure/things need to be planned, and I feel like your girlfriend is the same way. Fact you didn't do anything for 3 birthdays in a row shows you don't care. Most people, especially around your age, don't want to live day by day. They want to start thinking about the future and planning their lives. Please do her a favor and remove yourself from her life. She needs someone that's more stable and that actually listens and cares about her concerns instead of brushing them off. You're a shitty boyfriend and she deserves so much more, and I hope she finds it. And don't try to pull the whole "we've been through economic hardships and couldn't afford to celebrate her birthday!" exclamation mark, because I bet every year you guys have celebrated your birthday but you couldn't even get her a fucking card or write her a sweet note/cook her a dinner. You're a clown. She deserves better. But, you're coming up on 30 and can't motivate yourself to start making some long-term plans. She obviously has expectations you're not really trying to deliver. Living day by day works. When you're 18, you need to have a serious discussion with your lady. It sounds like you're both going in 2 different directions. It's time to let her move on. Got frustrated reading this, to be honest. She tells you all her concerns and you brush them aside by telling her to relax pretty much. She wanted to hear a game plan from you, but you seem happy to let things continue as they are. Let her go and find someone she's more compatible with. My best advice I could give her was to not stress herself out so much and take things day by day. She is telling you plainly that she needs a plan. Also, 2 shit birthdays in a row for her. You may love her, but you are not prioritizing her. You need to be more active. I am in your GF's situation and it's extremely draining to be with someone who never has a plan and expects me to do all the heavy lifting in the relationship. Do you have a long-term plan for how to make the things she wants happen? Proposal, house, kids? Do you even want the same things that she does? How do you plan to increase your earning potential so you can actually afford those things? If the plan is moving to a cheaper area, what are the steps you're taking to make it happen? Living one day at a time is good for facing adversity, but also a great way to waste your life. Life happens in leaps, but you have to put effort towards each major jump, like relocation, housing, adoption, marriage, or upgrading your career. As far as trips go, you don't need money to go do things. Get on the internet and find some free events in your area, nice hiking trails, a park, anything. Show some creativity. Same thing with presents. Why not cook her a nice meal for her birthday? Or create something for her like a poem, card, piece of art, scrapbook of your times together, just anything. A relationship is a partnership where both people work together to achieve mutual goals. It goes a lot better if both people enthusiastically pull their weight instead of one dragging the other. My dad, 56M, doesn't like me, 23F, moving in with my BF, 22M, met her but LDR of 3 years. Mostly I'm just curious on people's opinion of when in a relationship it's appropriate to move in together. My BF and I met in freshman year of college. Soon after we got together he transferred to a different school, but we decided on LDR and I'm so glad we did. Now I'm finishing up school as an engineer and he'll be done this spring and going on to grad school next fall. Wherever he gets in I intend to follow since my work is so versatile and I'm really excited by the idea of living with him. He and my dad have met and dad likes him well enough, though they've only met the once, so it's not like a lifelong friendship. I don't think dad's problem is with him specifically. Dad seems to think moving in before marriage is a touch scandalous. He hasn't /forbidden /me or anything, he just sorta doesn't like it. He says he and my mother, 56F, didn't move in together until they got married and bought a house around age 29 after like 8 years dating. That was, like, 30 years ago, though, so obviously times have very much changed. It was my understanding that modern couples tend to move in first to see if they work as human beings that have to live in the same place. Thoughts? Too long didn't read. Dad doesn't like me moving in with a /boy /before /marriage /. When do you think it's appropriate in a relationship to do so? Long distance relationship to living together is whole other world. Your reality will change. When you begin living together, sit with him and really learn to communicate. You're a grown woman. I don't believe in marrying someone until you have lived with and had sex with them. I viewed marriage as a lifelong commitment, and just as I wouldn't buy a car without test driving, I would not have married until I truly saw how that person was on their worst days. Just my personal opinion. I have been happily married for almost 3 years now and never regretted my choice to move in and get to know him prior to committing the rest of my life to him. On the reverse, moving in with 2 exes is what kept me from making the wrong move of marrying them. In my culture it's not exactly common to live with your so before marriage, but it isn't taboo to either. I house swapped with my so within a couple months of the relationship. Some days I'd stay at his place and some days he'd stay at mine, and transitioned to moving in together maybe at the 5-6 MTH mark. It seems fast, but it was largely out of convenience, proximity to work, having all our stuff in one place instead of lugging a bag of things everywhere. Luckily we cohabitate well, so it's been 1 year and barely any arguments regarding our living arrangements. My parents are like your dad at the start. They found it inappropriate, but they also couldn't stay much since they stayed together before marriage themselves, out of convenience no less. Two students from the same hometown studying in a foreign country. Not trying to imply otherwise, staying together is a big decision to make as a couple, so while convenience is a factor, it's more important to see commitment level on both parties and how you guys see yourselves together in the future, etc etc. I've learned so much staying with my and the intimacy pulled us closer together in great ways. I don't think his concern should be that you're moving in before marriage, but more that you have not had the opportunity to spend a lot of time in person together due to distance. You learn a lot about a person when you live with them. Most couples are able to spend a lot of time in each other's living spaces, but because of distance you've probably not gotten a fair grip on what that's like with your partner. Living with your partner is fun and romantic, but life doesn't stop for that. Cleaning and chores remain, and sometimes that kills romance for couples, unfortunately. I'm all for living with someone before marriage and buying a house so that you know you're compatible in that regard. Just be aware of the fact that moving to a different city to only learn you may not be compatible living together is a possibility. However, if your job market is flexible in most areas, go for it. You live, you learn. Sometimes the hard way, but at least you'll have learned. Good luck. Personally, I would invest at least a year into the relationship in person before moving in. Give yourselves the space and time to learn about who you are before moving in with each other. I met my husband online and we dated LDR for a year before meeting up in person, traveling back and forth to see each other. I moved in with him after 3 years and we got married 5 years later. This is our first year as a married couple. Each step was a transition and took adjustments from both of us. This is all personal opinion, though, and you should do what feels comfortable within your relationship. I guess my rule of thumb is just that you shouldn't rush into anything and you should give yourself the ability to be stable on your own before moving in with someone else, especially if there are other big changes happening at the same time. You mentioned grad school and career plans. Should I tell her how I feel? I'm 25M. Since things shut down I started going on walks with my dog. Back in May in one of those walks I meet her, 23F. I saw her a few times and finally one day she started talking to my dog and eventually me. We eventually traded phone numbers. She also has a dog, and we began sending pictures of our dogs back and forth. That eventually led to us having conversations via text. Back in August I finally went back to work, so I stopped seeing her. We still text back and forth mostly on a daily basis. Thing is, for the last couple of weeks I have started having feelings for her. I don't know if I should tell her or wait to see what happens. I'm afraid if I tell her she might not feel the same and get weirded it out. Too long didn't read. I met a girl back in May. We've been talking back and forth since. I've developed feelings towards her. Don't know if I should tell her. Update, thanks all of you for the advice/encouragement. Ended up using my dog and managed to set up a dog play date at the park on Veterans Day. Thanks again to the person who PM'd me with the suggestion. Let's see how that goes. Best time to ask her out is now while the crush is still too new for you to have invested much into it. Rejection won't shatter your whole world if you haven't made her your whole world yet.